Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're going to talk about the most powerful story ever told. It's not a myth or a legend written in some ancient book. No, it's a story we all tell each other every single day. And that story is money.
So, let's jump back in time. We're in 1519. The Spanish conquistador Hernán Cortés shows up in Mexico, and the local Aztecs are, well, they're completely confused. They just can't figure out why these strangers are so obsessed with this soft yellow metal that's kind of useless, right? And when they asked him, Cortés gave this incredible answer you see on the screen. It points to this really deep, almost irrational obsession that has, no joke, shaped our entire world.
And that's the big question, right? I mean, what is it about this stuff? Because this obsession, it wasn't just the Spanish, it's everywhere, it's universal. And it makes you wonder about the very nature of value itself, about this incredible fiction we've all just decided to believe in.
Okay, so to really get why we even invented money, you have to try and picture a world without it. And let me tell you, it was a total mess, a real nightmare.
You know, for most of our history, we lived in these small, tight-knit groups. And in those communities, there wasn't really trade like we think of it today. It was more of a favor economy. If you needed something, someone in your tribe just helped you out. The understanding was, hey, you'll get me back later. It worked because it was all built on personal relationships and knowing you could trust each other.
But then, things got complicated. Cities popped up. Suddenly, you're living with thousands of strangers. So what happens when you need a new pair of shoes from a guy you've never met? You can't just ask for a favor, right? You have to trade. But what do you trade? How many apples is a pair of boots worth? 10? 100? Who decides?
And this is where the whole idea of bartering just completely breaks down. Get this. In a market with just 100 different things for sale, you'd have to keep track of, wait for it, 4,950 different exchange rates. Can you imagine? It's impossible. It's a total headache. We clearly needed a better way.
So what was the solution? Well, it wasn't some new tool or a fancy piece of technology. Nope. The answer was a revolution of the mind, a huge leap forward in our collective imagination.
All right, let's look at how this idea evolved. At first, money was something with actual intrinsic value. Think Sumerian barley. You could literally eat your savings. But, carrying around bags of grain is not ideal. So next came things like the silver shekel. You can't eat silver, but people wanted it, and it was easy to carry. Its value was more cultural. But the real game changer was the coin, a stamped piece of metal. This wasn't just a lump of silver anymore. It was a promise, a guarantee from the king, saying this is worth this much.
And that's the key takeaway right there. Money isn't the object itself. It's not the paper bill or the metal coin in your pocket. Money is simply the shared story. It's the agreement we all have that this thing has value.
So, if it's just a story, how in the world did it get so powerful that it basically runs the entire planet? Well, the secret ingredient is actually super simple, but also really profound.
Okay, think about it this way. Why do you accept a dollar bill? It's not because you have some deep, unwavering faith in the government. Not really. You accept it because you're 100% sure that the person at the coffee shop will accept it from you. That's literally it. Money is just this giant system of mutual trust. Its power comes from all of us believing in it together.
And this example is just perfect. Back in the 16th century, you had Christians and Muslims fighting these brutal, holy wars. They couldn't agree on God, on politics, on anything, except for one thing: the value of a gold coin. See, money works where religion and politics fail, because its demand is so simple. It doesn't ask you to believe in a deity or a king. It just asks you to believe that other people believe in it.
So this universal trust gives money these two powers that are, well, they're almost like magic. First, you've got universal convertibility. Money is like an alchemist. It can turn land into loyalty. You just hire soldiers. It can turn violence into knowledge. Then there's universal trust. This is what lets millions of strangers, like a coffee farmer in Brazil and a programmer in Tokyo, work together on massive projects without ever meeting or even having to like each other.
But, and this is a big but, this incredible power has a dark side, a really serious corrosive downside, because money has this tendency to sort of seep into everything. Like water, it finds its way into every little crack in our society.
Think about it. We build our families, our communities, on things we consider priceless, right? Things like honor, love, loyalty. But money operates on a totally different logic. Its logic says, Everything has a price. And it's always pushing against those human boundaries, trying to slap a price tag on things that shouldn't have one.
And that creates this really dangerous trade-off. The more we learn to trust this impersonal system, money, the less we might trust each other. Our actual neighbors, our community. We slowly start to put more faith in the coin in someone's hand than in the person who's actually holding it.
So, where does that leave us today? How is this ancient story playing out right now? Well, it's gotten even more abstract and somehow even more powerful.
I mean, look at this. This is kind of mind-blowing. Over 90% of all the money in the world, it isn't even real. It's not cash, it's not coins, it's just ones and zeros on a computer server somewhere. Our collective belief has jumped from physical stuff to pure digital data. Our trust in the fiction is stronger now than it has ever been.
And that, ultimately, is what money is. It's the grandest fiction we've ever created. It is, hands down, the most successful story ever told. It's this shared belief that let us humans cooperate with millions of strangers, build cities, create empires, and connect the entire planet.
So in the end, the entire history of our economy has been this kind of delicate dance. We absolutely rely on money to cooperate, but we're also deeply afraid of its power to corrupt us. We try to build these walls of tradition, of morality, to protect the things we say are priceless. But the logic of the market is always pushing, always trying to find a way in. And it leaves us with one last, really big question to think about. What's the real price we pay for all this convenience?